on Higgins against Allen. 9 is the target, so Higgins needs just 3 more. Allen needs a fast start to have any chance of getting back into this.
An early chance here on the left-hand side with this red. I'm sure that Mark would be disappointed having lost the session 6-2, especially the way he played against Mark Selby in the previous round. Well, it's not a bad start, is it? But that needs to slow down a little bit. Don't be surprised if this guy comes out all guns blazing and attacking everything. That's his sort of game.
Made 3 centuries in beating Selby. A thoroughly deserved victory, even though Selby threatened to turn the match around, fighting back from 5-2 down to force the decider, which went down to the last few colours. But so far, Higgins has had a bit too much for him.
Well, he's been playing very well, John, over the last couple of months, especially played quite well in Daxing, and he's played well all week here. Not only is it the £200,000 that these guys can win this weekend, Phil, it's an added incentive because there's one more spot left in the Champion of Champions next week. Now, there's 2 players that could get there. One is Stuart Bingham, and the other one is John Higgins. Imagine if they both came through for the final tomorrow. That would be some incentive.
Yes, another big paycheck on offer in the Midlands next week for the Champion of Champions. Neil Robertson is the defending champion. He's been a bit out of sorts in the last few weeks.
And of course, then we go to Northern Ireland, Belfast, for the second leg of our home nations. Nice cannon there.
8.
An early chance here for the Irishman then.
$16. 17.
But the noise just in the back of the arena there as Mark was playing that black.
24. $25.
In fact, not quite sure what he was trying to play on there. Obviously just taking the extra 7 points, and now we play the safety. Well, I can only assume he was trying to get on that red, but he wasn't that far away actually. It wasn't a big area to put the cue ball into. A couple of inches to the left, it might have been spot on.
Mark Allen, 32.
A handy lead from Mark Allen, but not as handsome as he would have hoped, and he's left this red for Higgins.
Cleans the whistle, held for the pink. Chance to hit back here, but difficult to see where the next red's coming from, unless you can make contact with the pack. Well, nothing there.
Seven. John Higgins, 7.
Well, that's got them open. Not quite behind the brown, but it's not too bad.
You've got to think the minimum requirement for Allen is to win 3 of the first 4 frames before the interval. Anything less than that, and it's going to be nigh on impossible for him.
Well, there's also, of course, we know the possibility that we might not get to an interval. Well, he had a go, wasn't too close to the pocket, hence the wry smile. Do you know, I think he's got away with that. He's just about covered everything. He's covered that red near the black, he's covered the one down the table with the blue. Look of the Irish, eh?
He's going to need it. 4 frames adrift.
Well, I wonder if he has covered this one. First glance, I thought he had. Well, Mark got away with that a little bit.
Definitely went. And a chance.
One.
You know, I thought he'd missed that.
Mark
It looked
Allen, 1.
wide all the way.
This isn't the start that Mark Allen was looking for. He's had good opportunities already in this opening frame, a frame he really has to win.
One.
And that error on the blue could prove extremely costly.
Well, he could play the blue here, because if he takes the black early, well, I'm just looking at the blue, it's got to be the black. Depends where it goes, though. I don't think it'll go on its own spot. It'll go on the pink spot, which will tie it up. Well, if he's snooking himself, that's an awful shot. Just seem to jab at that instead of like cue it properly. Referee Zheng Welly has put the
8.
black onto its own spot. Now, is he on this red? Yes, it's okay. And the red goes. You can just push the black beyond the red here. That was nearly very careless.
Black.
Was intending to be on the blue, but we'll have to play the yellow. Opted for the brown. Well, he's struggling at the moment to keep control of this cue ball. That's out of position again.
13.
Well, don't tell me he's landed on one through the gap between the pink and the black. Well, that was incredible.
14.
Well, when it's going for you, I don't know. Has this man got his name on the trophy this weekend? Perhaps.
Nineteen.
He's got the angle on this black just to drop in behind those reds to the opposite corner. Well, he's on this one anyway.
27.
Well, the first session between these two was unbelievable. A little bit earlier today, John had breaks of 131, 123, 77 and 54 in winning 6 frames, and Mark had a break of 95 in the 2 that he won. Incredible stuff. But at the moment, John Higgins is looking
28.
favourite here to take this opening frame in the evening session. 7-2, well, that becomes 8-2. That's a long way back. I think that kicked, just slightly kicked and took the pace out of the white. It sounded heavy.
35.
Well, that was a mile away.
John Higgins. 35.
A very scrappy first frame on the resumption, a vital one for this man who really has to take it. Sean Murphy in the background there, hot favourite to win frame 9 against Stuart Bingham. He's 50 in front with 35 on. Bingham needs 4 snookers.
Yeah, and on that screen there, I think that red's just dropped into the corner pocket, so I think that frame's over.
Never more than a frame between them on table 2. This is another good chance for Allen to close to within 3. Played outstandingly well against both Ricky Walden and Mark Selby. Hasn't hit those heights so far today. There's still time if he can win this one.
4.
And that's not good. He played on the black there, he's underhit it, and well, if he tries to power this pink in for the red, he could miss this, especially from this angle. Well played. Yes, well done.
Into the lead, Allen.
10.
35 left. Nothing safe.
11.
Well, John Higgins will be annoyed in himself. That was a great chance. I think he got a heavy contact on the black, slightly out of position on the red. Still fancying to get the red though.
16. 18.
There's our graphic, shows you he's got a 10-point lead here, so he needs green, brown and blue. Oh, would you believe it? Would you believe it?
Well, that's an absolute shocker.
Marker Allen, 18.
No wonder he's frustrated. You just can't miss opportunities like that when you're 6-2 adrift in a major semi-final. Inexplicable, really. He played so well yesterday. Wow, that only just dropped as well.
Straight.
This has been a very scrappy first frame. And look at the position. Well, a reprieve it would seem for Allen. Completely at odds with the first session.
He might still take this on, actually. He can cut this into the corner. It's thin, but I think it's possible.
If he misses it, he's bound to leave it. Unless he gets a lucky kiss.
John Higgins, 3.
Wow, strange frame, but an absolutely pivotal one in terms of this match being a contest. Another chance for Allen. Surely he has to take this one. He only needs the blue. It's not an absolute gimme.
Just looks a little bit edgy to me, actually, Mark Allen. Phil hasn't quite settled yet, but he'll be happy to take this one.
Well, a frame littered with errors, but crucially from Mark Allen's point of view, he's won it to close the gap to 6-3. Mark Allen has managed to reduce his arrears to 3 frames. I'm not quite sure how. He missed all sorts in that opening frame on the resumption, but John Higgins couldn't punish him. And so instead of 7-2, as looked likely, it's now 6-3.
Yeah, just a few latecomers coming in, settling into their seats.
Not the best break-off, to put it mildly. Amazing how quickly these tables are playing. The cue ball at one stage didn't look as though it would reach the baulk line.
Oh, they were quick last week in Daixing and pretty much the same this week. In fact, probably early doors, slightly quicker. I think there's been a refit before the semi-final stage, Phil, last night. I think these two tables are redone. Just slightly softer than it was a couple of days ago. Oh, great pot. I mean, you know, they're coming off the cushions really well, but it's the speed of the bed which is incredible. Our suppliers have certainly done us proud with manufacturing this cloth. It's beautiful. Straight away looking to get him onto the black spot. Well, he knows he should have won the first frame of the evening session. You can put it right here and retain that 4-frame lead.
6.
The next couple of frames are going to be important, which will really, in my opinion, decide as to which way the semi-final is going to go.
13. $14. $21. $22.
Higgins made breaks of 131, 123, 77 and 54 in carving out that 6-2 first session advantage.
Yeah, there's been 15 centuries this week already. Of course, these 4 lads are big hitters. There might be a few more before tomorrow finishes. And that 141 from Stuart Bingham earlier today eclipsed Mark Allen's 140. It's £10,000 for the high break this week.
37.
Might buy him a drink.
38.
Well, he was trying to pinch a bit there, and he pinched too much.
38.
And that's another one that's gone astray. Unexpected.
It's the kind of error that will give Mark Allen hope that he can get back into this if he can recapture the form he showed in the previous 2 rounds.
And you just read my mind, Phil. Well played.
That's a great opening red. Gutsy stuff from the left-hander.
Yeah, that's exactly what you were saying. And if he just has an inkling that John's not right on it here, he'll fancy the job. If he gets to 6-4, then 6-5. Certainly a 6-5. To concentrate on the blue here. Pink out of commission, of course. When John missed that black, it's
6.
finished on the side cushion. Once more, it doesn't really matter how you get over the line, whatever colours they are. Oh, he's ever done that.
7.
Oh, once more, this cloth is very responsive to spin. Now, looking at the pack, I wasn't sure whether there was a plant into the left middle. Just checking that now. Not sure, because he could play the blue and the cue ball off 2 cushions. If not, I'm not sure where the next red's coming from. Well, he's trying to get into them. This is missable with this downward striking. Well played. Good nudge that.
$12. $13.
A couple of reds he can play on here, but he might go into them from the yellow. Just nudge them again. can't quite see it. Again, there might be a plant into the right corner. So plenty of options. Ooh, that only just wriggled in. Needs to make the most of this if he can.
15.
6-4. Just put a little bit of pressure on John Higgins. Mind you, can you put pressure on John Higgins? Seems to soak it up. Again, that wasn't clean.
16.
Side door. The yellow wriggled in.
One.
Well, if he's taking this on it, this is a big shot. And he's opening everything up here. That had to go in.
It wasn't an entirely convincing break, was it, from Mark Allen? Rattled a couple of pots. Didn't quite get control of the cue ball. So John Higgins returns to the table with a 17-point lead, and once again, nothing is really safe that matters.
One.
I think if there's been a flaw in Mark Allen's career so far, it's been his inability to string great performances together. We've seen a couple this week against both Walden and particularly Mark Selby, I should say, but maybe that's why he hasn't won more than he has, the 3 ranking titles. The lack of consistency perhaps has dogged him a little.
Seven.
Yeah, I can't say that about this guy. 28 ranking titles. 4 world titles. I honestly believe that he might have another world title in him, actually, Phil. You know, if he's playing well, sometimes the draw opens up for you, the crucible. It can happen.
Well, you can never write someone of Higgins' calibre out, can you? That's the point.
He's always going to be in your top 6, isn't he?
It's a great chance for a 7-3 lead now.
Yes, didn't take it in the last frame. Will be determined to take it in this one. Just needs a red in the colour. Can he stun over for the pink? Oh, he's got the middle one. That's perfect. Well,
18.
I think it's frame over. It will be 7-3. That was a big shot for Mark Allen to take on there with the rest. You know, he didn't play a good positional shot to get onto the red. And he knew that he was going to open everything up, and he's been punished. Okay, you can push the boat out a little bit and attack, but if you don't knock them in at this level, the frames will go against you.
31. John Higgins. 31.
The pistol still not firing, really. And John Higgins takes advantage to extend his lead to 7-3.
Yeah, well, it's one each at the moment in this session. But we said that for Mark Allen, the target at the interval will be 3-1. Having said that, John Higgins can wrap this match up before the interval. Just waiting for John to return. I'll tell you that he comes. Sean Murphy's taken the first one on the other side, and Stuart Bingham, in fact, Stuart Bingham's just taken the 10th. So locked in, joined in battle over there. It's 5 apiece between Sean Murphy, Stuart Bingham.
Yeah, that's now a best of 7.
And you've got to say, Phil, if John takes this one, it's just about over.
Yes, Higgins hasn't played as well as he did in the first session so far. He missed one when he was in the previous frame, which Allen might have punished, and I'm sure would have done had he been playing as he did against Selby. But if he can win the next 2, he's still got a chance. Well, that's indicative of the way things have gone for Allen today. He was knocking those in with alacrity against Selby. This time it doesn't look as though he's done any damage. Could be looking at a re-rack here. Hard to see how things are going to progress from this situation. Unless, of course, a touching ball is left. And it is, so that changes things a bit. Mark Allen checking. Higgins can now pick his spot on the baulk cushion, playing away as though he'd hit the red. I'm sure Higgins will be delighted with the form he's shown so far in Guangzhou this week. Huge prize up for grabs, of course, £200,000. Not to mention a place in next week's lucrative Champion of Champions tournament. Well, that wasn't great. Not easy, though, with the spider. Awkward cueing, but well short of where he wanted to be. Frustration continues for the Antrim left-hander. Good opening red.
Well, as we keep saying, Mark Allen has not fired yet. He needed to come out all guns blazing, and John's just picking him off. (7-4), and then becomes 7-5. Well, there's light at the end of the tunnel. 8-3, no chance.
24.
As Phil alluded to earlier in the programme, that playing for £50,000, these boys see it. In fact, they're playing for 150,000 because of the possibility of winning the 200. If you think of it that way.
Yeah, 100,000 guaranteed to the winner, and that applies its own pressure.
Referee Zheng Weili here, just checking the pink. It might have to go behind the pack. Well, I think it's not going on its spot. It's actually going behind its spot, but it's got to be dead in line down the table. If not, it'll go behind the reds. I think that will go, actually. I think it'll fit.
Yeah, it looks as though it's in a direct line.
These always take a little bit of time. Looks pretty good to me. Yeah, you can see that it's behind its spot, not on it. And John has to just keep his concentration here.
Looking for his first win over Mark Allen since 2012. He's lost the last 3 times they've met. And I think Allen, given how well he played against Selby, would probably have been the slight favourite coming into this match today.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that, Phil. But John did the business on him in the opening session. Laid the base. It's a question of can he finish the job? Put the roof on. It's gone aggressive. Could have been better. Has a red to the yellow pocket.
16.
Well, not only has that a great pot, but he's managed to get back for the pink as well. Could have easily have pushed that.
Terrific pot, and he would have been leaving a red for Allen had that rattled and stayed out.
Well, this might be 8-3.
23.
Now in his 42nd year, John Higgins. Been a pro for the best part of a quarter of a century. But still competing at a very high level. World number 6. Possibly not as good as he once was, but still extremely good, as he's proving this week.
Well, exactly. He's still a tough cookie to beat. You know, you don't want to come up against him, do you? He's granite. I mean, some of the clearances he's made over the years has been unbelievable. Under immense pressure.
Entertaining match with Mark Williams first up. Williams, of course, here because of Ronnie O'Sullivan's withdrawal. That was 6-4. They've had a few battles down the years, to put it mildly. And then a fairly comfortable win over Ali Carter, 6-2, but he's missed the brown.
Well, already there's been 1 or 2 mistakes creeping into John's game, but Mark hasn't punished him, and there's another one.
Perhaps concentrating more on the split on the bunch than the pot. Well, chances don't come much better than this for Mark Allen. He simply has to grab this with both hands.
Well, he does, and this could be the start of the fight back. As you say, Phil, he's got to make the most of this. Just somehow, if he can get himself into that interval at 7-5, he might have a chance.
Well, you can chalk down that miss brown as a possible turning point in this match, because if Higgins had potted it, with the red spread as they are, he would almost have been guaranteed to be 8-3 up. 5 up with 6 to play. As it is, if Allen can win this frame and the next before the interval, who knows?
16.
He knows his game is there. We've seen plenty of evidence of that
17.
already this week. It's just a case of finding it.
$24.
That's nice, just nudging those two reds open. Giving himself a chance to win the frame in one visit. Just need some table time, a little bit of a confidence booster would help.
32.
Trying to put this one together.
33.
Just put this one on the board and then just push on.
$39. 40. $46.
Just left this a little bit awkward. It could have done with bringing that cue ball away from the pink slightly. It's not a real problem. Oh, that's nice.
47.
Leads by 23. Not there yet in this frame. Well, he's trying to put that red into a better position, and in fact he's put it into a worse position.
53.
He won't need it. He takes two reds here with high value colours. John will need snookers.
54.
Perfect angle to get in behind this red on the right hand side. So this will make it 37 the lead. The break goes to 54. And just needs this black and the red.
The second best break of the match, 95 in the first session.
Well, I don't understand that. And what was wrong with the black there?
60.
Out of position and still enough there for John Higgins.
Well, we didn't get to see the angle on the black. You might have had to play with a little bit of side, which he probably didn't fancy, but I thought black was favourite. Still a chance here then for John Higgins in this one. 36 the lead, 43 on the table. Well, it was nearly a snook on both reds. Doesn't really want to move the one off the cushion. Well, this is a half chance here. I mean, he could pop this red into the middle pocket. This is frame ball. Very surprised John played it that way. Well, is it that massively thin? Yeah, I think John was just looking to put the white to the back cushion. He's played a poor safety and he's got away with it.
And look what he's left, Alan, by completely mishitting the red. What a chance for Higgins to win a frame. He looked like losing.
Do you know, it's amazing sometimes, Phil, isn't it? When, you know, so often we see a player play a poor shot and then get the benefit from it. Well, this would be a massive benefit to John Higgins.
Would virtually set the seal on this match, you would think, barring something quite extraordinary.
No, I would think so. Of course, then John will be putting all his efforts into the next frame to try and win it before the interval. He won't want to go into an interval and come back out. He wants to do the job before the interval.
And the problem for Alan, apart from the scoreline, will be still believing that he can turn it around from 8-3 down, if that's what it's to be. That's very difficult.
Well, it wasn't one of the best safeties from John, but well, the cut to the middle was awful from Mark Allen.
Down the club, this would be the proverbial piece of cake for Higgins.
Well, I've done this tens of thousands of times. This would be a big psychological blow here to the Irishman. I've seen down the years John so often very clinical in these sort of situations. Not the start that he was looking for.
He could have won all 3 frames on the resumption, Alan. And had he played the way he did yesterday against Selby, I think he would have won all 3. He'll be very disappointed with the way he's played today.
Well, the attempted cut back, cut the red into the middle has cost Mark Allen dear. Can't see John missing this.
This to go 5 up with 6 to play. Right in the heart of the pocket, John Higgins punishes Mark Allen for his error on the red and needs just 1 more for victory. Mark Allen, a shadow of the player who defeated Mark Selby yesterday, and that complete miss-hit on the red when he had a chance to clinch the frame and stay alive in this match. Well, he's just about alive, but barely. 8-3 down. He's got to win the remaining 6, and at the moment there's no evidence to suggest he can do that. He's just not at the races at all today. Higgins needs just 1 more frame. This is the final frame before the interval, if required.
Well, John hopes not. Good pace there. Attempter, but it's about 11 feet away. How would you fancy this one, 8-3 down? But he's got to try and stay positive here, Mark. Well, it's a great pot from there. Nothing to lose. Have a go.
Exactly. The point of no return. Very unlikely that Allen's going to win from here, so he might as well go for it. But everything's a trial at the moment.
Well, that probably just sums up his day. So near, yet so far. Just wonder whether John might come off 2 cushions here with par and try and loosen a few reds. No. bound to be on the black, but he can do that here actually, just catch it thin and go into them. The only danger is to catch the pack and finish up in the balk area with the cue ball. But I think he's playing on the single red, is he? Yeah, he's going to pick these off. 3 reds above the black spot will go.
8.
Oh, this could be the beginning of the end for the Irishman.
Meanwhile, Stuart Bingham has edged in front of Sean Murphy in that nip and tuck affair on table 2. What a match. Bingham 6, Murphy 5. And of course, we'll be bringing you climax of that match in due course, assuming this one finishes early.
16.
Stuart Bingham will certainly feel he's due a victory in a major semi-final. He's lost 3 this season already in Shanghai, the International Championship and at the English Open.
17.
2 of those to final frame deciders.
Little cannon on the middle red of the 3 here, but the danger here, they might hide behind the left-hand one. Oh, he's gone the other way. He had the room. Yes, and able to play those little delicate screw stun shots, especially on a cloth this fast and responsive.
25.
The tour continues next week, of course, Phil, doesn't it? Another top invitational event. It's full on at the moment for these boys.
Champion of champions. And of course, Higgins can book his spot with victory this weekend.
Yeah, I looked down the list. I thought it was him and Stuart Bingham, but I've looked down the list and Stuart's already there. So an added incentive here for John Higgins. I'm sure that with 1 spot to go, I don't know how it works, but I'm sure that if he doesn't win this weekend, I'm sure that he will get an invite to that last spot, because John's playing well at the moment and we'd like to see him at the table. That's up to the powers to be.
He's got a golden chance here to book his place in the final for sure.
Yeah.
41.
Nice cannon. Just push 1 and 2 out there.
48.
Well, disappointment for Mark Allen here. We were thinking that, 6-2 behind, we've seen players come out, win 2 or 3 on the bounce, and all of a sudden it's game on, but that hasn't happened for him. He's had the chances, but he hasn't put them away, I'm afraid. I mean, John hasn't blitzed him. He's just
56.
come to the table and done what he's had to do.
$57.
56 the lead. Another couple of reds with colours will just about seal this match. Well, he's played around the back of that red, but I think it still goes to this left corner. Well, not a great day at the office for that man. And he'd be disappointed considering the way he's played earlier on in this tournament.
65.
Match ball for Higgins.
$72.
No question, Alan has been below par today, but you've got to give a lot of credit to the guy at the table. He's manufactured this situation by playing some really tough match snooker. He's scored very heavily, a couple of centuries.
Well, Exactly, Phil. Sorry to interrupt. It's just he won it in the first session, really, didn't he?
As ordinary today, Alan, as he was brilliant yesterday, it must be said.
Well, the bow tie is already off the Irishman, so he thinks it's all over. No, it would be nice if John could finish with a century, but he's out of position here.
The consolation for Alan is that he will be in the Champion of Champions, of course, having qualified by winning the Players' Championship at the end of last season. But today, he just couldn't bring anything like his A game to the table. You've got to do that against John Higgins because he's too good not to take advantage. And it's a surprisingly one-sided win for the Wizard, who goes through to the final by 9 frames to 3.